Hello and welcome to This Old Wall, brought to you by Hilti Excavation Equipment, Bosch, and Makita Power Tools, Miller Welding Supplies, and Mike's Hard Lemonade. Well, we're back in Concord, California, where last season this old house was transformed into this old house, which now we got the front looking not too shabby, but the back has issues. The house was built in 1950. The original retaining wall was wood. So, after 50 years or so, it was pretty much gone. The contractor, who shall be known as Joe McGee, replaced the old wood pilings with some 6-inch steel beams. Probably could have gone a little bit deeper. 10, 11 years later, the wall's heading south, as you can see, taking the fence with it. So, first thing's got to go is the cactus. Breaks my heart, but pretty easy to come down, tie a rope on it, and give it a yank. Except this has got to be, I don't know, 20-some years. The trunks became like a sequoia. Required a little extra leverage here to get that down. And now the coast is clear. And time to start digging. You can see with the string line there, two of them are out about 8 or 9 inches. This one in the front here, about 15. The black plastic I put down as a moisture barrier actually held up pretty good through all those winters. So the plan is dig a trench in front of each beam, bury a couple of pieces of angle, hammer them in at 45. That requires welding a stud here on the end so it'll fit in the chuck. Of course, right where I need to put it, there's a big old chunk of concrete under there, old fence post or something. I didn't strike oil, that's water to soften the clay. So, the angle's buried, time to dig. You got to dig down to the concrete at the bottom of each beam. And over here requires a little power assistance to get this cactus root out of here. Next step, weld a couple clips on the beams, hook up a come along, and start cranking. The hose helps soften the clay. These weren't out quite as far. These were only out 8 inches. The other one was 15. Anyway, there it is. A couple of cranks on the handles, little by little, straighten right out. Once you get everything straight, you got to secure it with a couple of 1/2-inch solid round, weld it up to the proper length, and you can't, if you weld it to the beam directly, you only get about a 1/2-inch weld on the beam. So this way, on a little 2x2 angle clip, you get 4 inches of weld on the beam and a couple inches on either side of the rod. Much stronger connection. Same here at the anchor point. And everything welded up solid. Got the come along loose. Didn't budge a millimeter. This piece of pipe was in the yard when I bought the house in '89. Welded that in there too to kind of tie everything together, which just goes to show you, never throw anything out. There's Oreo, the mascot. Neighborhood cat, likes to hang out in the yard. Here's the hired help, Doc, my next door neighbor. Lend a welcome helping hand. It's not even his fence. The guy on the other side of this fence wasn't interested in helping out. Okay, so the wall is pretty straight, but the fence, after being stretched out like that, needs a little tune-up. You can see how it's put together here. The slats fit into a little groove here at the top, and at the bottom, though, they just kind of sit there, and everything's held together with staples instead of screws. Cheaper, faster, and easier, I guess. A little furring strip, also stapled, which tends to come loose over the years. You can see how this bottom rail is sinking down. So, what you got to do, attach a C-clamp here to the bottom rail, and the come-along cable goes up over the top and hooks on the other side of the clamp on the back of the fence. A little piece of angle there to keep the cable from digging into the wood. And crank the handle a little bit. Everything snugs right up. Take that 1x2 strip off the back. Pre-drill a couple screws so it won't split. And reattach on the front side over here, like so, which will prevent these slats from slipping out of there again. And on the back, replace that missing 1x2 strip with a 1x6, so it'll secure the bottoms as well. Now this last panel, for some reason, got out of square. These diagonals are supposed to be equal. I don't know how that happened, but what you got to do here is put the clamp here and pull that bottom down. You got to move the C-clamp to the beam, hook the come-along up again. So this time, after you loosen these screws here that hold it to the post, when you get up on the come-along, instead of squeezing it, you pull the whole panel down, which skews everything back to the way it's supposed to be. And we're all square with the world again. Snugged up tighter than Dick's hat band. And you're good to go. Now, create a little auxiliary retaining wall inside of the main wall. Threw in every chunk of concrete I could find, kind of beef it up, along with a couple of old 4x4 fence posts and old 4x12 timber there that I had, and that ought to do the trick. Start filling in the dirt, and as long as I got this hole here time to address this problem, which has been bothering me for years. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I could move this sidewalk, but figured I'd take a shot. I still have my old floor jack, and I figured if I can pick up the ass end of my 71 Coupe de Ville, I ought to be able to move this slab of concrete. So, dig out a little bit under the top here so that it'll go down. Some hydraulics, a little old-fashioned leverage. There you are, just like Machu Picchu. So, the fence got a little grimy over the years. A little treatment with some wood cleaner solution, and it's good as new. And a little stain on there. It's got a little tint to it, but it's transparent. Allows the texture of the wood to show through. And there you have it. Brand new 11-year-old fence. And little artist's rendering what it's going to look like after a little landscaping. And there you have it, just like downtown. Well, that's our show. If you'd like to try this for yourself, a measure drawing will be available on our website. And remember, there's no more important thing than to wear these safety goggles. And keep on hand plenty of this Mike's Safety Lemonade. See you next time on This Old Wall.